My wife, 37 female, got a new job about 4.5 months ago. She also made some new friends. I, 36 male, didn't really like them. They were all hardcore feminists, professional victims, SJW types. The kind of women who will yell at you for opening the door for them, or for not opening the door for them. You can't win either way. In the beginning, I sort of laughed it off. But during the last 2 months, I started noticing some disturbing changes in my wife. We've been married for 11 years and have 2 kids. Our daughter is 10, and our son is 8. It got worse and worse. She started accusing me of all kinds of nonsense, like saying I was born evil because men historically suppressed women. Say what? Whatever I did for her, things she would normally appreciate, suddenly became reasons to have a fight. It was all nonsense. I tried to be patient. These arguments would usually end with me saying something like, "But I haven't done anything bad to you. The only thing I'm guilty of is loving you." That would usually leave her murmuring, and then the next day she'd be back at it again, trying the same thing with slightly different arguments. Then, about 5 weeks ago, I got this sharp gut feeling that something was seriously wrong. She came home late at night without telling me she'd be late. I couldn't reach her phone. She came in rather drunk and acted distant and cold. The next day, she was just dismissive, told me I was being controlling and reading too much into things. This happened a few more times. I tried to snoop on her phone but didn't find anything definite. I suspected she had deleted a lot of her messages. I did find a thread with one of her new friends, though. They were discussing how she would approach me about asking for an open relationship. I immediately knew what my instincts had been screaming. She was cheating. In the thread, my wife said she would talk to me about it on what is now the second Monday of December. Our kids were with their grandparents to celebrate Christmas. We were scheduled to join them today. Anyway, she tried to start the conversation during breakfast like it was just a random idea, asking me what I thought about an open relationship. Luckily, I was prepared. I was already recording. I had been reading a lot here on Reddit and knew there was really no way to save this. My best possible outcome was to get out of it with some sliver of pride and self-esteem intact. From here on out, it was all about protecting myself and the kids. I didn't scream or yell. I went directly into jaw-clenched interrogation mode. She was all cocky up until that point, but that evaporated the moment she saw the look on my face. Me. Who is he? She. What do you mean? She tries to look innocent, like she doesn't understand. Me. If you want to have this conversation with me, don't treat me like an idiot. The least you can do is be honest. If you can't be honest, what's the point of this conversation? She. What do you mean? Me. If you lie to me now, we can't even have the discussion you want about our relationship. I can tell you're hiding something. It's obvious. So who is the guy? She. I'm not. Me. Oh my God. It's more than one. She. Me. Don't. Just don't lie. You've already destroyed my trust in you. I can tell you're lying. Either you're honest and we talk this through, or I divorce you. Our marriage ends right now. No arguments, no discussion, nothing, just divorce. Do you understand? She. But. Me. Say it. Do you understand? Do you understand that if you lie, I will divorce you? Say it. Do you understand that I already know a lot? I can read you like a book. If I catch you lying, we are over. Tell me you understand. She. I understand. She proceeded to tell me about 2 one-night stands while she was out with her friends. I asked for names, whether they were married, if she wore protection, etc. They were both married men with kids. Then she told me she was planning to sleep with a coworker at her job, and that she intended to pursue it since it was good for her. and that I had no right to control her. What the F? I asked about the coworker, got his name, his wife's name. He's married too. But according to her, he's in an open relationship, just like she wants us to be. She continued. Then she told me she would set me up with some of her friends. One of them was apparently really keen. What in the actual fuck? I've seen this friend, and I wouldn't touch her with a barge pole. I told her I wasn't interested. I asked for her phone, and she showed me the pattern to unlock it. While she went to the bathroom, I locked myself in my office. She freaked out, banging on the door, but I ran recovery software on the phone for deleted content and ended up with lots of painful evidence. 30 minutes later, I also installed a spying app from an online service. When I came out, I gave her the phone and told her to leave. She argued a lot. I didn't really respond beyond single-word answers. She didn't seem remorseful at all. Through all of this, she was yelling at me that I was acting controlling, holding her back like men have always held women back, that I never loved her, that she had every right to do this, that she expected me to just accept it, that it wasn't a big deal, etc. I didn't argue back. I hardly said a word, actually. I just packed her stuff while she circled, yelling at me. I ended up at the front door, where I stood silently until she ran out of steam. In the end, she reluctantly went to her parents' house. On her way down the stairs, I told her she was single now, so she could do whatever she wanted. I wasn't controlling her anymore. My lawyer would be in touch in January. When she turned to respond, I just slammed and locked the door. Later, I watched as she discussed everything with her friends. They were telling her how strong she was, how she was demanding what she was entitled to, how she deserved better than me. They said it was just empty threats from my side, that I wouldn't go through with it. You want to bet? What really worried me was how they told her that, if needed, she could just accuse me of domestic abuse. One of them even explained how she had screwed over her ex-husband and taken everything from him by accusing him falsely. I've ordered cameras to install around the house now. I know I have to record everything. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. I've never ever threatened her in any way. Then she started messaging her AP to meet up. They agreed to meet at a hotel. I was absolutely stunned. I went online trying to find the AP's wife. It didn't take long. I got her to accept my friend request on Facebook, and I told her everything, including the ongoing hotel activity. She thanked me and hung up. A few hours later, I got a video from her. She had gone to the motel and confronted them. From the screaming, it wasn't the first time her husband had cheated. "You fucking asshole! You do this to me again? To the kids? Again? I told you! We were over if you ever did this again, you piece of shit!" She yelled, walking into the room and filming my wife getting dressed on the edge of the bed. I threw up the first time I saw it. The AP's wife slapped her and cursed her out. I sent a message to my wife, telling her I'd seen the video from the hotel and that I never wanted her near me again. It's like she sees our interaction as some sort of pissing contest where, in her mind, she's winning. She's totally delusional. I can't understand any of it. It's like she isn't connected to reality, like she doesn't really understand that we are divorcing. I logged onto my wife's family WhatsApp group and informed them that we are divorcing due to her infidelity. I thanked them for making me feel welcome and part of the family, then disconnected from the group. I've received a few calls and messages from her side, but I haven't read or responded. I just don't have the energy for it. I called my parents and told them everything. My father messaged my wife and told her she wouldn't be welcome for Christmas. I'm at my parents' now. I've talked to my boss. He's giving me time off until mid-January to sort everything out. I've been monitoring my wife's increasingly frantic discussions with her new friends. I don't think it's dawned on her yet that she has lost her family, that her marriage is over, and that her new friends and her AP don't actually give a damn about her. She's sent me many messages. She even showed up at my parents' house, demanding to be allowed to celebrate Christmas with us. My father threatened to call the police if she didn't leave. Now I'm Googling divorce lawyers, crying my soul out. I think I've been in shock, but the pain has hit me hard since I got to my parents' house. I just can't make any sense of it. It gives me so much. The pain is absolutely unbearable at times. I wish this never happened. I wish I could get back with her like before. But I just can't do that to myself. This is the worst Christmas ever. I couldn't help myself. I explained to the kids that Mommy doesn't want to be a family anymore, that she wants to be with other men, and that we will be getting divorced. They are naturally distraught. Luckily, my mom and dad are here to help. They shower the kids with love and affection while I am an absolute mess. I will try to get back on my feet for my kids' sake, but I am never going back to her. I wish I had waited until after Christmas so I could get them straight into counseling. I don't know what happened. I just blurted it out when they asked about when their mother would come. I will never be able to look at myself in the mirror if I went back to her. The level of disrespect and callousness in her behavior is unforgivable. I am lost. I just don't get it. Why is it that she expects she can demand anything from me at this point? Is she mentally ill or something? Sorry about the incoherent rant. I just needed to get this out. Edit. I found out that I'm okay with the monitoring. I talked to a lawyer that a friend knows. The phone is mine, and the subscription is mine. My wife is using it, but I own both, so I'm in the clear. It's not illegal to monitor my own equipment. So, a lot has happened since I last posted. A lot. I wish I could take credit for it, but the truth is, I've been a pathetic, sobbing mess since then. I was sort of obsessed with reading my wife's chats with her friends. A lot of insane and hurtful things were said in those chats. What broke me in the end was when my STBXW described, in very harsh language, how her marriage, and especially her children, were burdens in her life. That they had prevented her from becoming a successful woman and living up to her full potential. She described how I, as her husband, was an oppressive POS who held her back from living a good life. That her family was the reason she didn't have a successful career, loads of casual sex, etc. I just broke. I couldn't handle it. I spent the next 30-ish hours reading and rereading every line of emails and chats I had, over and over and over again. On reflection, she didn't provide any details on how we were actually burdens or oppressors. It was all just blanket statements. No examples or supporting arguments. In fact, I have never stopped her from doing anything. I paid for almost everything. The minimum wage she collected from her part-time job wouldn't be enough to support anyone. Actually, I've supported her hobbies, dreams, and aspirations, even when she did one dumbass class after another that she would always drop out of halfway through. I made sure to show her I loved her every day and appreciated everything she did for the family. I romanced her, took her out, was there for her whenever she needed me. I mean, if this is oppression, I'd like some oppression, please. Anyway, I digress. At some point, during one of those long reading sessions, I just passed out. When I got up, my 3 best friends were in the kitchen with my dad, making dinner. I've known these guys since childhood. Let's call them Mike, Bob, and Frank. My dad had invited them and brought them up to speed. I soon broke down again. I was completely out of it until Friday evening. Mike, he's ex-military. He lost his left arm below the elbow. We were all there for him when he was in recovery, and his wife bailed on him. Luckily, they didn't have any children. Mike has since adopted 2 kids and has a very kind girlfriend now, so he did okay in the end. He set up a Zoom call with the counselor who helped him during recovery. That guy helped me a lot in understanding what was happening with me emotionally. Even though he specializes in amputees, he told me how most wives, sadly, bail when their husbands are injured. And his stories and examples, he helped me a lot, actually. He asked me to see my soul, my identity, my spiritual self, as having a large part of it tied to my marriage and my role as a husband. That part is dead now, and just like an amputee suffers phantom pain in a missing limb, I would feel phantom pain from the dead part of my identity. We spent hours talking, and I've been steadily improving since. Bob is an executive at some security company. He never talks much about his job. I don't actually know what he does, but he's very well off. Bob called a law firm that's on retainer for his company, and by Sunday morning, I was speaking with a lawyer I could never in my wildest dreams afford to even talk to. Bob has always been a huge nerd and was bullied a lot. He told me not to worry about the bill. He'd cover it. He was happy to finally be able to repay me for all the beatings I took for him growing up when I interfered with his bullies. Frank is a teacher at a private school for kids. He's married, with 7 children. Yes, that's right. 7. My kids absolutely love him and the rest of his family to death. Frank has been making sure my children are okay and well cared for while I work to get back on my feet and get my ducks in a row. Yesterday was a very hectic day. It started with an STD screening early in the morning. The Bogstats gave me chlamydia. Another screening in 6 months. Just fucksunk. My self-pity party switched to pure fucksing anger when I found out. That was it for me. Gloves off, full custom. I will give her nothing if I can get away with it. The lawyer managed to track down the ex-husband of my wife's feminist friend, the one who bragged about how she screwed him over. Apparently, it was very easy through court documents. I wouldn't even have thought of that. I talked to him on WhatsApp. He thanked me a lot, but he also told me everything that Harpy did to him. Now I know what to expect from my STBXW. It was sickening. I was ready for a fight after our chat. I am preparing for war. It was heartbreaking hearing how he had been homeless and had hardly seen his kids in 4 years, all based on his ex-wife's lies. I accept that I'm at a disadvantage as a man in the court system, so I will make sure I have tons of evidence. My lawyer suggested a preemptive strike via a restraining order due to her negative and aggressive comments about males in general, especially for our son's sake. Growing up in a household with an openly anti-male parental figure is obviously very damaging, so I'm going for full custody. I told the lawyer to go ahead. She expects my wife to be served with the restraining order today. I had a call with my ex-wife on Zoom. Keep in mind, she hasn't reached out to me at all since she showed up at the door to argue with my dad. She hasn't reached out to the kids or anyone else either, so it's not like she cares about any of us. The call was absolutely bizarre. She was all made up, with massive cleavage showing. It was obvious she was trying to look her absolute best. I haven't seen her that dolled up in years. Throughout the entire conversation, she tried to bait me into a fight, to get me angry. I managed to keep cool. My lawyer had told me what to ask. Apparently, it's very positive if attempts are made for an amicable divorce before filing for a contested one. I was being recorded. I even told her. My STBXW didn't disappoint. She started out with this absurd statement about how there are 2 types of penises, One that's roughly the same size, whether it's erect or not, and the other that shrinks and grows based on whether it's erect. What in the actual fucking? Who opens a call with their husband like that? Then she mused about how she was looking forward to the end of current restrictions so she could go out and investigate this more in person. I simply responded that I wasn't interested in her hobbies. I was only interested in discussing our divorce. She got openly hostile when I didn't take the bait and get angry like she wanted. At one point, she told me she was going to the bathroom and muted herself. Then I watched as she conferred with her friends about what she could do with me. She cursed me out for nothing more than being a man several times throughout the call. I still had this strange feeling that she was seeing this as some sort of game, that she was in control, that I had no other option but to put up and shut up and give in to whatever she wanted. We made zero progress on our actual divorce. So I concluded, okay, fine, a contested divorce it is. Then, BTW, you gave me chlamydia, and unlike you, I haven't been sleeping with anyone else. So you better get yourself to the clinic. She just frowned at me like, you're right, I don't believe you. I seriously have no idea at all what is going on with her, and at this point, I no longer care. I sent the recording to the lawyer, and she was shocked, to say the least. Everyone thinks my wife is insane at this point. Maybe she is. Since I own her phone and the subscription, I can actually use the chat logs as evidence in court. Turns out it's fully legal to monitor my own device as much as I want. After our call, there was frantic discussion between the harpies, but I could finally put it aside. I no longer care what they talk about. The lawyer is confident we'll win this thing, unless there's something I haven't told her about. So there we are. It still hurts, but I can treat it as phantom pain at this point. I've abandoned feeling sorry for myself and I'm going for the jugular. No prisoners. I need to protect myself and my kids. I'm good. My kids will be fine. I will make sure they get therapy as much as they want. My STBXW will soon be a distant memory, and I will start building a new, better life. Edit. Found out today that she knew about the chlamydia and got treatment, but didn't tell me. B*******. Film. She was joking and laughing with her new friends about it. I get a lot of feedback like I'm strong or winning in some way, or somehow getting out on top. Rereading my posts, I can see that my anger toward the situation filters through, and I might seem too fine and sure of myself. Truth is, I'm not. I wish this never happened. I wish my family was still intact, and that I had a long, lazy, comfortable life ahead of me, with my wife, while the kids grow and start their own lives. No one is the winner here. My wife has gone off the rails, and the entire train is burning in a ditch. I don't know what is wrong with her. She refuses to see any medical professional for possible mental issues, and she acts like nothing is wrong. Still, she shows no remorse, no regret. She acts like I'm the unreasonable one for not just accepting whatever she wants, and she hasn't even talked to the kids since D-Day. I'm divorcing her, taking action, and moving forward with separating our lives, because I have to. Her behavior has left me no choice, and by now, there is no way back. I wish so much this wasn't necessary. I can never trust her again, and I cry myself to sleep every night. For my own loss and for the fact that my children will now grow up in a broken home. It also breaks my heart that my children, in reality, no longer have a functional relationship with their mother. Question: how do you answer this question from your child? Why doesn't mommy want to see me anymore? Doesn't she love me? How the heck do you answer that? If anyone knows, please let me know, because I sure as hell don't. Every day I wake up and tell myself that my heart is already smashed into so many broken pieces that it can't possibly break anymore, only to be proven wrong, all day, every day. My wife still doesn't know that I can monitor her communications, or she doesn't care. She is 100% convinced that I will never leave her, and that my reaction to her behavior is totally unjustified. She keeps talking badly to her friends about me, our marriage, and our children. I don't understand why she hates us so much. We haven't done any of the things she accuses us of doing. As I mentioned before, my lawyer won a temporary restraining order against her. There was a hearing yesterday morning, and since there were no new direct threats, it wasn't extended. My lawyer suggested using the fact that she knowingly infected me as leverage to try to get her to agree to an uncontested divorce. I wish we could separate in a reasonable process. I hate the fact that I have to see her as the enemy and always assume the worst possible outcome. If she wanted to leave me, I could live with that. But why force me into this extremely adversarial process? Why does she do her best to hurt the people who used to love her as much as life itself? What possible gain could she have from this? I would appreciate any insight on this. It just doesn't make any sense to me. If I go to court, I will probably have to pay her a lump sum for the equity in our house, etc. I will probably not be liable for alimony, and since she doesn't show any interest in the kids, I'm hopeful I will win custody of them if it goes to court anyway. My lawyer suggested we try to get her agreement for an amicable divorce. I agreed, and we will meet with my STBXW and her representative hopefully this week. The ex-husband that was defrauded by the lying harpy spent New Year's Eve with me and the kids. The injustice of the justice system against fathers is just incredible. Now I have no delusions of receiving a fair process if we go to court. His ex lied her head off, and the court just took it as fact. No proof whatsoever. He has hardly seen his children since. He has been forced to pay unreasonable amounts of alimony and child support, and it's pretty much broken him. He has been contemplating ending things permanently. With the new evidence he gets from me, he has renewed hope. We both talked to my lawyer. She suggests he sits on the evidence until the meeting with my wife and her counsel. If he takes action now, it will show our hand, that we have access to all their communications. My lawyer's goal is to divorce me and my wife as soon as possible, as smoothly as possible. Right now, I just hope I can get away from her. If she decides to fight, it can drag on for a long, long time. It's stressing me out. I just need to get free. I will post an update if I get a meeting, or if we go directly to a disputed process in court. Sadly, the bizarre situation continues. The meeting with my lawyer and my ex-wife was yesterday afternoon. She showed up 30 minutes late. She didn't bring a lawyer and claims she doesn't have or need one. Instead, she brought one of her new harpy friends, censored until after hearing. My lawyer had given me very strict instructions on how to behave. I was not to react to anything they said in a negative way. If they addressed me, I was to respond in a non-confrontational manner, or positively, if I could. If my lawyer put one or both of her hands flat on the table, I needed to keep my mouth completely shut. So they show up late. No masks, of course. The harpy, censored, tries to insult me and wind me up in any way she can think of. My STBXW does the same. My lawyer is trying to get the discussion going on the subject at hand, our divorce. But they are just joking around. They laughed at their own insults toward me a lot. It was real cringe to watch. It's clear now. My wife still believes this is all a ruse. that there is no way I can divorce her. In her mind, only she can divorce me, and only if she wants to. If she does, she will get everything. I just sat there thinking, what the fuck is going on? I didn't actually say anything of substance. I only responded a few times, and it was along the lines of, yes, you are probably right, or I really don't know. Finally, they ran a bit out of steam. My lawyer got the word and started putting forward the proposed settlement for an amicable divorce. One of the first things she said was that I was willing to be generous for a quick, peaceful resolution, that I would pay her a large lump sum of $60,000 for the equity in the house, investments, etc. My lawyer didn't even finish the sentence before my STBXW got all excited. Together with her harpy friend, nudged on by the horrific-looking harpy next to her. STBXW wanted to know where to sign. My lawyer asked several times if my STBXW didn't want to go over the rest of the agreement first. But no. STBXW wanted to sign right away. She started talking about when she could expect to receive the money and that they needed to get to the pub. So my lawyer calls someone in, whispers something to them, and there was a flurry of activity. An older woman asked for our identity documents, and we were asked to sign 2 copies. When we were done, the old lady stamped it. I later found out that she was a notary. My lawyer, almost standing on the palm of her hand at this point, thanked my STBXW and the harpy and told them we were done. They left, and my wife didn't even bring her copy of the agreement with her. She left it on the table. My lawyer looked at her flat hands and at me. She obviously didn't want me to say anything while they were still in the building. I saw them crossing the parking lot. My lawyer looked at me and said, "Congratulations." Then she spoke at length about how this was the strangest session she had ever had for a negotiated divorce. She told me she would send my STBXW's copy to her after we do a hearing in front of the judge, or if she gets a lawyer who asks for it. Until then, it's forgotten in my lawyer's drawer. So it looks like, on the surface, I will get through this divorce a lot easier than I first thought. STBXW can still hire legal representation and dispute this. My lawyer told me she would try to call in every possible favor she could think of to get me a hearing with a judge as soon as possible. It will probably be a video call. I've also hired a PI after the advice I got here on Reddit, and he got photos of my wife making out with 2 different guys at 2 different bars yesterday, and she went to a hotel with one of them. So I have lots of evidence piled up if I need it. I just hope it's enough if it comes to that. My wife signed to give me full custody, only a one-time payment, no spousal support, no nothing, just $60,000 and I'm free. Now I've just got to find the money. I've got a plan, and Bob offered to front me the entire amount if need be. I still don't feel like this is real. I fully expect her to pull her, "I have an aggressive lawyer and I'm accusing you of molesting the kids and domestic abuse" card out of her hat. The lawyer told me to keep a very low profile, pay for everything I normally pay for, and don't rock the boat in any way at all. The advice is, don't talk to anyone we both know. Just sit still and wait. Don't respond to anything, basically zero initiative until the hearing. So now all I need to do is be patient and hope for the best. So yesterday was the hearing. I'm basically divorced. It will take 4 to 6 months for the paperwork to be official, but at this point, there is basically nothing anyone can do to change the outcome. The only option would be if me and my wife together stop it. I'm so fucking tired. I haven't slept in, I don't even know how many days. So if I'm a bit all over the place, I'm sorry. I just need to get this all out. I need to vent. Hopefully, I can get some sleep after I type it out. My awesome lawyer got me an early hearing, just 12 days after submitting the paperwork. No doubt she called in some favors on this one. I'm getting off track. From the weekend up until today has been insane. Friday morning, a whole bunch of police officers knocked at my door with a warrant to search the house. I was very confused. I was worried about the kids, so I asked if I could bring them outside while they did their search. Thankfully, they agreed to that. They didn't really tell me much, but I did get a copy of the warrant. I was so shaken up I couldn't really make any sense of it. I guess everyone that said my ex-wife's behavior was probably drug-related. It's safe to say that's at least a factor in this. The cops set about completely trashing my house. I called my lawyer and she talked to them, but the warrant was valid, so there wasn't anything that could be done at the time. I didn't think about it when it happened, but I have cameras everywhere now in case I get wrongfully accused. I have video and sound of everything. I could possibly make a claim later if I want to. To be honest, I don't really know if I have the energy or will for that. Maybe I just draw a line under it and move on. I didn't know it then, but my ex and her 3 harpy friends drove my car while high and drunk and crashed into a house at high speed. They were all arrested. All of them were drunk, and they all had drugs in and on their bodies. They were pretty roughed up by the crash. The one in the passenger seat is in critical condition. They don't know if she will even make it. The laid harpy, let's call her Henrietta, is the one that bragged about screwing over and lying about her ex-husband in court. Let's call her ex-husband Henry. Me and Henry have become really good friends. I got back to him. Thankfully, they didn't find anything from the search. I stated that my ex doesn't live here anymore. She lives with her parents. I don't know what she's doing. No, I didn't give Henrietta permission to drive my car, etc. When I got back into the house, I just broke down. Everything was completely trashed. It was just the last straw, I guess. The only thing I could think of was to call my dad, who brought me and the kids home to stay with my mom. Dad then got a whole group together, 26 friends and relatives. While I was sobbing on the back porch, eating my mom's amazing comfort food and feeling sorry for myself, they completely cleaned and fixed my entire house. They did every single room. Clothes, dishes, furniture, even washed the ceilings and walls. It's never been this clean. They even fixed all the little things, like loose door handles, etc. I just couldn't believe they would do such a thing for me. I have no idea how I can ever repay them. I went from suicidal to feeling pretty good over the weekend, thanks to them. The cops found more drugs at Henrietta's house, and her boyfriend wasn't there. No babysitter either, just the kids, alone. The kids were taken by CPS, and Henry won temporary emergency custody Saturday after showing the judge the chat logs, combined with the abandonment and piles of drugs. He got custody without much difficulty. Henry is over the moon happy. He has hardly seen his kids the last 5 years. He had been raising money to fight Henrietta in court when this happened. He still needs to go to court to make it permanent, but the odds are really good at this point. Everybody thinks Henrietta will have to serve time. If her friend doesn't make it, probably serious time. After that, he'll try for child support and compensation for all the crap Henrietta did. He isn't expecting much on this, though, and to be honest, I think he doesn't want to waste his time fighting in court. He wants to be with his kids and make sure they have a good life. It's pretty clear that Henrietta has been very neglectful towards them. Bob has been a champ and set Henry up in a rental apartment through a friend. I've come to realize that I know practically nothing about Bob's private or professional life. I intend to remedy that. Anyway, I'm off track again. Henrietta was at the wheel when she drove off the road and into a house. They were all pretty banged up, and due to the situation, the alcohol and the drugs, search warrants were issued for everyone's residence. My ex is still registered as residing at my house. I decided on Sunday that I am selling this house and moving away as soon as possible. I'm afraid this will probably happen again. On Sunday, I got a call from her parents. Their house got searched as well. They had visited their daughter in jail on Saturday, and they no longer trust anything she tells them. Long story short, they came over to talk on Sunday, and it turns out she has been lying to them about everything. The nights she's been out partying and cheating, she told them she was staying with me and that we were trying to work things out. They had no idea what was actually going on or what she had done to me and the kids. They knew she cheated, but they believed it was a one-time drunken mistake. That's basically what she told them. On Monday, my wife called me to try to get me to post bail. It's $15,000, and her parents had already told her no. After talking to my lawyer, she drafted some papers stating the bail is subtracted from the settlement until she shows in court and the bail is released. The agreement included her mother as the custodian of the remaining amount. My lawyer didn't want my wife to have any excuse for not attending the hearing. That's why she wanted me to get her out. My ex didn't really have a choice, and she signed. She was released Monday afternoon. From what her parents tell me, she refused to comply with the terms they had for her to continue living there. Terms like stop doing drugs, commit to rehab, full transparency, drop the bad friends, etc. She apparently left their house on Tuesday to stay with some of her new friends. She didn't show for the hearing, and after showing the judge everything, including the events over the weekend, I won full custody. The settlement is according to the agreement we made. It was quick, only 30 minutes. It will take 4 to 6 months to go through the paper mill, but in reality, it's done. There isn't really anything that can be done to stop this now. That brings us to today. I was unable to sleep. Everybody was congratulating me and treating me like I had some major victory, but it sure as hell doesn't feel like I won anything. This is just pain. I still love my wife. I know it's over, and there is absolutely no way back. Still, she was my best friend, my soulmate up until recently, and even though I feel my love for her has been mortally wounded, it's still there, and it hurts like a mother torture. There are no winners in this. I lose, my wife loses, my kids lose. I don't really have the words. It feels like I am being asked to celebrate that I have lost both my legs, but because I took action, one of my legs could be cut below the knee, while the other was still cut above. When people congratulate me, it feels almost like that. Like they are commending me for saving half a kneecap while losing both my legs. So I can't really sleep. And when I do, I'm torn through terrible nightmares that wake me up drenched in cold sweat. I'm complaining a bit here. Sorry. Anyway, today I got a call from the hospital. My ex is hospitalized. I'm still her emergency contact, and she's still on my health insurance. There has been an altercation. She lost some teeth, has a broken jaw, and will need to stay for observation for a few days. I brought her parents, and when we got there, it turned out that some of her new friends had beaten her up pretty badly. Word got out that Henry had chat logs of Henrietta bragging about what she did to Henry from my wife's phone. They assumed my wife had given the logs to Henry. This resulted in them beating her up and kicking her out. Amazingly, she still doesn't understand that I have access to monitor her phone. I'll keep on like I do now, paying for insurance, her phone, etc., all the way until I get the papers in my hand. I just won't believe it until I hold it in front of me. She has nothing now. She asked if she could move back home. I simply told her, no way in hell. Her mother isn't giving her a single penny unless she gets clean and stays clean for at least 1 year. They offered her to live with them again, on the previous strict terms. If she doesn't accept, I don't see how she'll manage. It's the first time I've seen any form of regret from her since this started. But I think it's regret that she can no longer continue with her craziness. She did say, "I'm sorry I ruined everything." But I don't think it's genuine. She hardly looked me in the eyes while I was there. It hurt, seeing her like this. I felt like I wanted to protect her. But she's an adult. Her behavior is dangerous and erratic, and I need to protect my kids. Apart from that, she didn't ask about the hearing. She didn't ask about the condition of her critically injured friend. She basically just sat there, seemingly irritated. I still don't understand this. She's lost everything. She's destroyed her family and caused a lot of pain for a lot of people. And for what? A buzz and some random sex? I'm going completely NC until she has been clean for a long time. I just can't deal with all this crazy. So, a lot of people PM'd me for an update. I was going to post one yesterday, but I just didn't have the energy. I'm kind of depressed and very, very tired. I hardly ever sleep, and when I do, I'm plagued by nightmares. Good news, the kids are doing better. My dad is a champ. I don't know what I'd do without him. We went to his cabin to ski a bit this weekend. Me, him, and the kids. It was great. I've basically had no contact with my ex. I did talk to one of her harpy friends, the one that was in critical condition. She woke up, but she's in terrible shape. I talked to her nurse, and she was sad that no one had bothered to look in on her while she was there. They had contacted her family, and they had just refused to see her. I'm worried the people that beat up my ex will come for me and the kids. So I asked, via the nurse, if I could talk to her, and she agreed. I know I shouldn't have, but I felt I needed to ask her about what had happened since my wife started working with them. She started off by asking me if I wanted a BJ for $20. So, that wasn't awkward at all. I offered her $50 in exchange for information instead. The harpy friends are all hardcore drug users, addicts. Henrietta dragged my wife into their group against the wishes of the other two and convinced her to try drugs and party with them. They sold sexual favors to get money for drugs. Henrietta is the ringleader in all this. They all preach this strong, feminist, my own body stuff. But as she put it, it's all to protect our own imagined egos. What we really do is prostitute ourselves for money to buy drugs. My wife bought into it at first, and it didn't take long until she was addicted, just like the rest of them. Once she was hooked, she eventually started selling sex to pay for drugs. Not easy hearing that. The person you loved more than anything turned herself into a tool to feed her addiction. It makes sense now why all she wanted was the money. Now, from what she tells me, it's mainly meth. No one has visited her because she has stolen, cheated, abused, and lied to everyone in her life, and no one wants anything to do with her. She told me without even blinking how sad she was that she survived. She has zero hope for the future and looks like walking death without her makeup. It was painful. I was devastated just listening to her. I cried a lot for my wife's sake. I'm not excusing her. She made the choice to play with this, and she lost. Now she will pay the price. She also told me all about the guys that beat up my ex-wife. I'll get back to that later. Henrietta has been charged with death threats, resisting arrest, drug possession, prostitution, drug trafficking, child abuse and neglect, DUI, property damage, and auto theft. She was denied bail as a flight risk. She'll probably go away for a while. At least I hope she will. Before I go on, I'd like to thank those of you who reached out with experience dealing with addicts. Many warned me that my ex might try to end herself now that the walls are closing in. You were right. She tried to deliberately OD. I had talked to her father about it beforehand, that there was a high chance she might try something. We decided to try to monitor her closely. Luckily, she still doesn't know that I have live information from her mobile. While we were at the cabin on Saturday, I got a message from her. It read like a suicide note. She told me about the addiction, the prostitution, how she had let everybody down, that she would do the only thing she could do, etc. I immediately called her dad. And because I have the mobile monitor, I also had her location. Her father rushed out and found her unconscious on a park bench. She was immediately taken to the hospital and pumped. She was also very hypothermic. I dread to think what would have happened if he had arrived just a little later. They have her on methadone for now. Her father has successfully become her appointed guardian. She can no longer object to treatment. Her father had her forcefully committed to a rehab center, and she will go through sedated detox. I don't know when exactly, but probably this week. Her father was appointed not because she overdosed, but because she abandoned her children. Apparently, abandoning your children proves that you're not rational, while trying to end it is okay. Anyway, thankfully, I hadn't had a chance to cancel her health and life insurance yet, so she will get treatment. I've offered my ex-FIL to help with the finances, as long as my ex isn't told that I am. I've been very scared that the guys who beat up my wife were going to come after me and the kids. Remember? Henry presented the chat logs in court, and they believe my wife gave them to Henry. I talked to Henry about it, and he decided that he would fix this since he benefited from the disclosure. I don't know if I mentioned this, but Henry is an angry meat mountain of a man. He grew up on a farm, carrying stuff since he was a kid, so he looks like Hulk and could rip the average man in half. He bends down walking through doorways. He has a crew cut and some facial scars. Let's just say he's very intimidating if you don't know him. In reality, he's infinitely patient, gentle, and kind. I don't doubt he'll use force if necessary, but for him, that's a last resort. Anyway, he went to the guy's apartment, a real hole, by the way. He grabbed the two guys by the neck and told them that Henrietta had given him the chat logs, and since they hurt someone he knew, they had a choice to make. Go with him to the police and confess everything relating to the assault, or face him right there, and expect some very painful permanent injuries if they chose option 2. As he told it to me, he let them know he was very hopeful they'd choose option 2. They apparently couldn't get to the police fast enough. Needless to say, I no longer worry about them. I found a new apartment and I'll be moving soon. Bob once again came through. All in all, I'm very depressed. This is heavy on my soul. What keeps me going is my friends and family. And I know I need to stay strong for the kids. My heart breaks for my ex. Despite everything, I don't regret marrying her. I still love her. But I know we can never be back together. She isn't the person she used to be, and there is just too much pain between us. The pain. Recently, we had a very good life before all this. I wouldn't have my children if it wasn't for her, and I wouldn't give them up for anything. I know it's going to hurt for a long time. I just hope I'm strong enough to get through it. Strangely enough, the news of my wife's addiction has helped my kids deal with it. It's much easier to talk about how mom is sick and that it's going to take a long time for her to get well. She still loves them etc., etc. Right now, I am just sad and tired. Henry is here with his kids. We're going to watch Madagascar 3, I think. I'm trying to make as many good new memories as possible. Henry is doing the same, and his kids, and mine, look like they're doing a lot better now. I think we will be okay. Thank you everyone for all your help. This will be my last post here, I think. My ex passed away. She overdosed while in rehab. We don't know how she even got the drugs. She must have taken them while inside somehow, but no one actually knows how. One doctor speculates that she swallowed a bag or something and that it burst. I won't be posting anymore or answering comments. Thank you to everyone who provided helpful suggestions and kind words.